Hi folks, before I get into today's report, I need to ask 3 people to contact me via email. S. Davies, D. McGuinness and M. Bartram. That's S. Davies, D. McGuinness and M. Bartram. I'm not reading your full names out obviously, but you guys have ordered some of the PAP cards. Please can you just email me, as I am lacking an address to send it to you. I did email you on the email addresses that came through with a payment, but I've not had a response yet. Please email me at your earliest convenience. Hello ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, innies, outies and in-betweeners. My name's Dan and welcome back to another PAP Reports. Today is Tuesday, May the 12th, 2020. Today I'm starting with something completely different, and only because I want to try and help some of you out. It's completely unrelated to the channel, but as I say, I just want to see if I can give you some info that may help you out. It appears that some insurance companies are offering partial refunds for reduced mileage on your vehicles due to the coronavirus. Direct Line themselves have got a form on their site, and I would assume that under terms of consumer agreements, if you've paid for something under a specific terms and that changes, then you should be entitled to some kind of refund. Most people put 10,000 miles on their insurance, but it's likely that's going to be dramatically reduced this year, and as your insurance is partly based on mileage, I'm going to suggest that you get onto your insurance company and get a recalculation and get this year's insurance payment amended. This is not something I'm going to be doing or adding to videos on a regular basis. I just know that that particular thing will help a lot of you out, and I hope it does. Okay, here we go. 2 women have been arrested over drugs offences and suspected misconduct after searches at HMP Berwyn in North Wales uncovered a quantity of Class A drugs. The 2 who worked at the jail had their homes raided, which led to the seizure of Class B drugs, designer jewellery and clothes by the North West Regional Organised Crime Unit, ultimately leading to their arrest on suspicion of misconduct in a public office and possession with intent to supply drugs. One of the women was also arrested on suspicion of money laundering. Now, it's not yet clear what their roles at the prison were, but the North West Regional Organised Crime Unit has said officers from the Prison Corruption Unit at the North West Regional Organised Crime Unit have today, Monday the 11th of May, arrested 2 women aged 29 and 32 who are employed to work at HMP Berwyn in Wrexham on suspicion of misconduct in a public office and possession with intent to supply drugs. The 29-year-old woman was also arrested on suspicion of money laundering. Officers investigating the incident executed warrants at properties in Flint and recovered Class B drugs and designer jewellery and clothing. A coordinated search was also conducted at the prison, during which Class A drugs were recovered. Detective Inspector Dawn Hampson from the North West Regional Organised Crime Unit said these arrests are another great example of the ongoing work between the North West Regional Organised Crime Unit and HMPPS to tackle the problem of corruption within prisons. The vast majority of people who work in prisons are upstanding, honest individuals, so it's important we continue to take action against the small minority who are involved in corrupt activity. Sticking to the theme of corrupt prison staff, serving prison officer Chloe Jones from Tower Hill in Kirby, Merseyside, is accused of helping on-the-run prisoner Philip King after he escaped from HMP Sudbury on the 1st of September in 2017. Jones, who was actually employed in another prison at the time, is accused of helping Philip King to arrange the break-in at a home in St Helens. Jones denies the charges against her, whilst King has pleaded not guilty to conspiring to burgle. The pair will stand trial in September. King appeared via video link at Liverpool Crown Court yesterday, the 11th of May, from HMP Liverpool, and was remanded in custody. The charges against Jones read that it's alleged she willfully and without reasonable excuse or justification neglected to perform her duty by failing to report that she knew the whereabouts of Philip King, a serving prisoner who she knew had escaped from HMP Sudbury on the 1st of September 2017. And she's also charged with assisting an offender. The pair's trial would have taken place yesterday, but because it needed a jury, which cannot be formed due to coronavirus, it's been postponed. 41-year-old PC Timothy Bramer from Dorset Police, attached to the National Police Air Service, has been charged with murder. Canadian-born Bremer Bremer allegedly attacked 41-year-old Claire Parry, a nurse, and Bremer's bit on the side, and left her unconscious with serious injuries in the car park of the Horns Inn in Christchurch Road in West Parley. Claire, who was also married to another police constable, was taken to the Royal Bournemouth Hospital, where she died the following morning. It is said that Bremer slashed his wrists after the attack on Claire. Dorset police closed the car park over the weekend as they searched the car park for clues. Neighbours said a white forensic tent had also been erected. Footage from a CCTV camera above the car park has also been handed over to police, said the Stonegate Pub Company, which owns the venue. Residents said they heard a commotion coming from outside the pub at around 3:30 p.m. on Saturday, shortly before the ambulance arrived. One resident, aged in his 70s, said he heard noises coming from the area but initially thought it was a baby crying. The man, who did not want to be named, said, "My wife and I were sat out in our garden and heard what sounded like a baby crying, which we thought was unusual for the area but really didn't give it much thought. It was only after, when we heard the sirens and saw what had happened, that we put two and two together and realised it could have been some sort of commotion in the pub car park. I've never seen police like it around here before. There were sirens coming from every direction and loads of ambulances too. They closed the whole road off and had a car parked in the pub right through until Sunday evening. It's really sad what's happened, and nothing like this has ever happened here before." A spokesperson for the Horns Inn said, "We have been made aware of an incident that took place in the car park and have handed over CCTV to assist the police with their investigation." Assistant Chief Constable of Dorset Police, Mark Callaghan, said detectives from the Major Crime Investigation Team are leading the investigation into this incident. Following inquiries into the incident, we have consulted with the Crown Prosecution Service, which has authorised a charge of murder. It is important to stress that it would be entirely inappropriate for Dorset Police to comment any further ahead of the court process. It is vital that the justice system is allowed to follow its course. I would also like to remind the public that this matter is now the subject of active court proceedings, and the individual charged in connection with this investigation has a right to a fair trial. It is important there should be no commentary or sharing of information online or on social media that could potentially prejudice these proceedings. It has been reported that the ambulance service arrived after a call and paramedics found two people needing medical assistance. One of those people was Bremer, after slashing his wrists, as he was also taken to the hospital. The force has said a post-mortem examination concluded that the cause of death was a brain injury caused by compression of the neck. All of that information, by the way, is in the public domain, so I haven't breached any restrictions. A Leicestershire Special Constable accused of secretly taking photographs of women in a changing room should have been sacked, even though the allegation never went to court, a misconduct panel has ruled. The name of the constable has been withheld. Nice to see the good old police transparency in action again. Allegedly pointed his phone through a gap in a cubicle to take images of women at a premises in Hinckley in January 2018. Special Constable resigned from the role when the allegation came to light and was placed under investigation by detectives. The investigation was sent to the Crown Prosecution Service, who decided there were insufficient grounds to charge the suspect with any offence, including voyeurism. Despite that decision, the force decided to press ahead with a gross misconduct hearing. In a statement, Leicestershire Police said the panel at the hearing found that former Special Constable did in fact breach the standards of professional behaviour, namely honesty and integrity and discreditable conduct. The officer was a serving Special Constable at the time the allegations were made, but had since resigned from the force. If he had still been serving, he would have been dismissed from the force with immediate effect. Detective Superintendent Rich Ward, head of the force's Professional Standards Department, said after the hearing, "While the offending officer was never criminally charged, we felt that there was sufficient evidence to take a case to a gross misconduct hearing. We will not tolerate behaviour of this type by those who represent the force, and the outcome of the hearing supports our concerns to follow this procedure and take the relevant action." A Warwickshire PCSO investigated over claims he made unwanted and inappropriate physical and social media contact with a colleague, and who made inappropriate contact with a burglary victim, has now been placed on the College of Policing's barred list. The PCSO, who has not been named, Don't you just love the way transparency permeates through the police? Anyway, the PCSO faced his misconduct hearing on May the 5th, where it was found he did commit gross misconduct. Superintendent Warren Little, head of the Professional Standards Department, said, "For the public to have confidence in the force, it is important our officers and staff maintain the highest standards at all time. In this case, I am pleased the member of the public had the confidence to make a report to the Professional Standards Department. This allowed a thorough investigation into his conduct to be carried out, which resulted in this outcome and has ensured that the former PCSO won't work for the police or other law enforcement agencies again." Liverpool Labour councillor Barry Kushner has received a police complaint after he and his councillor wife were said to have flouted the lockdown regulations. Barry and Joan Kushner have also been referred to the Whip's office of the ruling Labour group for investigation following a complaint that the councillors had been seen socialising with 10 members of their family on land at their Allerton home on Saturday, with several family members travelling from outside of Liverpool. Norris Green councillor Barry Kushner, the council's cabinet member for children's services, and his wife Croxteth councillor Joan Kushner have been faced with calls to resign over the incident, but defended their actions, saying that it was not an organised gathering and that family members all turned up unannounced at the same time at the same place. Okay then. Barry Kushner said Joan's mum and dad decided to turn up and brought their own chairs with them. "We were already having a barbecue at the time. We did tell them that we weren't supposed to be gathering together and they weren't here for very long. And if you think we believe that the entire family turned up independently without organisation at the exact time you were having a barbecue, you must think we're all schmucks." He added, "I know it looks like we're holding a party, but we weren't. It's difficult to say no and tell relatives to go away, but they weren't here for long." A response from Merseyside Police that says that the complaint has been forwarded to a local area policing team for further action. The response also states that while the force has no authority to enter someone's home, it does have the power to issue fines to those travelling for non-essential purposes. The Kushners are also being investigated by the Liverpool Labour group over the garden gathering. And here we go, yet another example of those we elect thinking that they're above us. It's about time we simply stopped electing people to act on our behalf, as the position clearly goes to their head. District Judge Alexander Jacobs has questioned the Crown Prosecution Service's decision to charge a man who said he was homeless with allegedly breaching coronavirus regulations by leaving the place where he was living. Sultan Monsawa, 45, was arrested at London's Liverpool Street Station on the 5th of May and charged with being outside of the place where he was living, namely no fixed address. But even after District Judge Alexander Jacobs questioned the legality of the charge, Crown Prosecution Service Prosecutor Malachy Pakenham said the CPS was determined to pursue the matter. Jacobs asked, "Is it not a defence that the regulation does not apply to a person who is homeless? If he is homeless, then the charge that he left the place he was living, namely no fixed address, doesn't make sense to me." Pakenham said the police had an address for Monsawa which seemed to satisfy the conditions. Monsawa had reportedly told the police officer on another occasion he was going to see his girlfriend, and earlier he had said he was going to a market. "Unnecessary travel is an offence," Pakenham said. The fact he told the police he had an address. Jacobs said, "But even the arresting officer said I was arresting him for breaching coronavirus conditions because he had no address." The judge asked CPS to reassess their charge. An hour later, the prosecutor returned to the court to say, "We will be proceeding with these charges to trial." To trial! Mansour, of no fixed address, was granted bail until 22nd of June, where he will stand trial for leaving a place he lives without reasonable excuse during the coronavirus emergency period. Unreal. 59-year-old retired Scotland Yard officer Gary Roy, who worked for the Met Police for 22 years, has been fined after attacking his 69-year-old cancer-stricken wife in a drunken rage. The attack happened after Mrs Roy, 69, a former Crown Prosecution Service worker who had been diagnosed with cancer, attended an appointment at Kingston Hospital on April 21st. When she returned to their flat in Surbiton, in Surrey, she tried to talk to her husband about the outcome. but he refused to engage and became angry and grabbed her arms as she tried to leave. Mrs. Roy told Wimbledon Magistrates Court her husband often swears at her and tries to control her behaviour. She confided in her first husband after the attack, and he phoned the police. Appearing at court, Roy, who retired from the Met Police 4 years ago, admitted assault. Judge Godfrey at Wimbledon Magistrates Court said domestic abuse is serious because you're violating the trust between you and your partner. Mr. Roy, you pleaded guilty to an assault on your wife where you were drunk. You became angry and grabbed her arm. You grabbed it firmly to drag her away from the kitchen. Although there are no visible marks, you caused pain in the arm and she was scared because you were drunk and unpredictable. I bear in mind her age, 69, and her poor health. I also bear in mind your service to the public over many years. A conviction is more of a punishment to you than it might be to others. Really? It's encouraging, he says, to hear you're taking steps to address your alcohol problem. Roy of Lovelace Road, Surbiton, was ordered to pay a £319 fine for 1 count of assault. A big thank you to channel Patreon supporters. Your support is truly, truly appreciated. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. Please like, share, comment and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts, as I know many of you will. And until next time, stay safe, look after each other, film the police and other officials.
Good night, all.
Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you like the content and you'd like to help support the channel, you can do so. In the description of every video there are some links to ways that you're able to help support the channel so I can continue putting out content. If you're unable to help us in that way, hit that subscribe button up the top there. If you haven't already, become a subscriber. That is support enough. Share the videos, comment, like, it all helps. If you're looking for something else to watch, up top there is my latest video. Down the bottom there is a video that YouTube recommends for you.